Welcome everybody, and welcome to the What's Cooking Brooke show. We have a very special episode today because I have friends over for a dinner party. I'm going to be making tonight a pasta with a very, very basic, simple, actually quintessentially good tomato sauce. Hi everybody!
Hi
friends!
Happy birthday!
It's Brooke's birthday today! Yep, also, it's a little bit my birthday almost. This is one of my presents that I got tonight. It's my very first apron. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I have a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. Do you know how I got inspired to make this? I made a new friend named Chloe playing tennis. She's my new tennis friend. She saw the show and she's like, you totally inspired me to want to cook, and I've never cooked before. Now I really feel like wanting to cook something. I never have time because I work so late, I work so much, I'm tired. In that moment I was like, I have the recipe for you. And this is the recipe. It's super easy and super basic. All I'm gonna do literally is cook tomatoes with an onion and some butter for about 45 minutes, and then it's done. You can add other things, of course. You can add a little this or a little that, but it's good on its own. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get my onion ready. So I'm gonna cut it in half so it's gonna be easy for me to take the paper off. Okay, so our onion is ready, and then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chop up these tomatoes, not even chop them up, I'm just gonna be cutting these, I'll show you. You just can cut them in half. I got these tomatoes at the farmer's market. Actually, there's this really cute Russian woman, and she was standing there, and before I could even ask any questions about these tomatoes, she like gave me the bag, but she was so cute. I was like, okay. And I just started putting them in, and turns out she didn't even work there. She was just some homeless person. I don't know, I kept seeing her everywhere the rest of the day, and she kept trying to sell me everybody else's goods. I was like, I don't know what she is. Maybe she doesn't exist at all, and I imagined it, and she's like my inner leprechaun that's now manifested outside me. And last night, I watched Jane Fonda's documentary, which was really great. There was a line in the movie that was my favorite. Any healthy country, like any healthy individual, should be in perpetual revolution, perpetual change. And I love that quote. It's funny because I'd been thinking for a couple days before this quote about wanting to somehow talk about the fact that I think one of the healthiest things that you can do is always be changing. We have an unconscious, this, as Jung called it, this great unfathomable abyss. You're not really taught about that when you're growing up. You're just fed all this information, and then you're conditioned to go out and just work and get a job and make a family, but no one tells you about who you are and what you're made up of. I mean, you learn about Freud and you're like, oh yeah, that like dreams and stuff. I remember actually I had this really amazing dream. I was about 21. I was home for summer from college or something, and I had this amazing dream, and my family was downstairs at the table. I went downstairs like, oh my God, I had the most amazing dream. My dad turns around and he says, fuck your dreams and get a fucking job. And I was like, okay, no dreams for me. Point being, my unconscious was not exactly embraced by my family. They thought I was a little strange, but I had a lot of connection with my unconscious. What I realized is that I'm a psychotherapist, and what I specialize in is helping people get in touch with their unconscious. The process of integrating the unknown into the known allows you to expand and continually evolve. And by doing that, you also are tuning in with the maximal amount of life force that you can have, because you're literally on that line, that heartbeat of that perpetual change. If you're constantly seeking to know what you don't know, not just facts or work or job, but your own unconscious. It's essential to our health. When we repress emotions, when we repress things, they go into our unconscious. They don't just disappear. You know, people think, oh, I won't deal with that, I won't feel that, I won't think about that, and it's just gonna disappear. But what happens is it just gets buried, and it often gets buried in the body. And if it gets buried long enough, that's how physical blocks can manifest, and the energy will stop to flow there, and then a disease can manifest there. So ideally, you're constantly wanting to get in touch with your feelings and not put them in your unconscious, not put them in your body. So back to Jane Fonda. Anyway, so that's why I really liked that quote. I was like, wow, because to hear somebody else equate constant change with health. And the thing is that I think most people are really only comfortable, with their conscious mind. They get very scared of what they don't know. I think thousands of years, like you can call the unknown that element of the human being that's the quote unquote feminine realm, relegated to the dark, unknown, mysterious. Because for thousands of years, man has really wanted to control nature because he's been scared of it in a lot of ways. Attack of the killer tomatoes. If you're tuning in for the first time, I always cook with French butter. This is my favorite brand. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn the stove on, and I'm gonna put it on in between medium and hot. You can put as much or as little as you want. I'm putting it should be about 3/4 of a stick. That might be a little bit more. These beautiful tomatoes from the farmer's market. Believe it or not, you're gonna see how this reduces down. And then a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. I'm gonna stir this a couple times as we go, but basically this is just gonna cook for 45 minutes. This is a medium high right now. And then once it gets going and all the butter's melted, I'll probably turn it down so that it's just kind of like a little bit of a soft bubble, a little bit of a simmer. These onions are actually just going to add flavor to the sauce. We're not actually going to chop them up or incorporate them into the final sauce because actually the flavor of the onion mostly will have already transferred into the sauce. So you see how now it's starting to liquefy, the tomatoes are starting to cook. So as they're cooking, they're becoming more liquidy. As the liquid grows, it envelops more and more of the tomatoes. It's gonna become all saucy very soon. I usually cut off where the stem goes in. I clear all that out usually, but got distracted. I've never made this before. I found these beautiful heirloom eggplants at the farmer's market, white and this beautiful purple. And all I'm gonna do for these things is I'm going to dip them in flour with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. This is really easy. All we're gonna do is fry it for a little bit till it's brown, and then bake it with some cheese and tomato sauce. This oil is not smoking, but it's on medium. And so I'm just gonna, You could use vegetable oil, you could use canola oil, you could use grapeseed oil. That's nice. See that? It's a nice brown color. Ooh, that one's nice. That one's almost, but that's fine. Because we're gonna bake these anyway. We just want a little bit of brown. One more minute for those guys. Oh, that one's ready. Okay. This is my pan. I made this tomato sauce earlier, exactly like the one I'm making for the pasta. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the bottom. We have our fried eggplants here. I'm just gonna put these in a nice single layer. That's a nice little layer there, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of tomato sauce on top. And so we're gonna add a little bit of the Parmesan. This is Parmesan, putting that on. I got Pecorino too, Pecorino Romano, little diversity in honor of my liberalism. And then we're doing another layer, right? So that's another layer. And then this is our next layer. We're almost done. And then I'm gonna just do the same thing. I'm gonna also add some more cheese. I already shredded this mozzarella. This is just a little bit of fontina. I just thought, why not? And then, why not? Just a little Parmesan, right? Now we're gonna put this in the oven and let it bake for about 15 minutes. And I have it at about 400. Oh my God, can I tell you something amazing? My oven is now, it's 375, which is what I wanted it at. My oven for the last 2 months has been running 50 degrees over. It's on my list of things, I gotta fix this. Now all of a sudden it's fixed.
It's your birthday. It's Gary Shandling.
That means you're in the vortex.
Well, yeah, it means that like there's a synchronicity here. Like clearly, like I'm now more balanced. Did you also know that Gary Shandling is in my cabinet? My new thing is Gary Shandling is with me all the time now. Okay, for those people who've never made pasta with tomato sauce, I'm showing in this episode how easy it is. I have some water in this pot. I'm bringing it up to a boil. I'm gonna add some salt. The salt helps the pasta not stick to itself. Also, just a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit. You don't need to, but you can. Making pasta is like the easiest thing ever. We're just gonna, it's almost to a boil. Yeah, it's boiling. Okay, there we go. Isn't that elegant? So that's gonna cook, and I think it's like 7 or 8 minutes. We're gonna test it, and I am gonna put a timer. I don't usually time things, but the pasta I time. We're gonna test, so we're testing it at 7 minutes. You gotta test at 7 minutes.
I think it's better to bite into it.
1 more minute. There's no business like show business, I know, business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Everything about it is a gas. I'm gonna call it ready. Oh, okay, just maybe be sure it spoke to me. Okay, so we have our cooked pasta.
Okay.
We have our onions. And what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna take these onions out. This looks like it could be reduced a bit. See how it's a bit watery? I want it to be a little thicker. There's a couple options. You could blend it. I turned the heat up just so we can reduce it a little bit and make it a little bit thicker. I'm just putting as much pasta in here, and then I'm just mixing it with the sauce. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our spaghetti. Look at it now. Look what we did, everybody. Look. It's real. Whoa. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There we go. And this is what we're having for tonight's dinner party, everybody. Who wants to try it?
That's my plate.
This one's your plate
Really?
now. Yes, try. We'll let you be the taster.
Oh no, do I have to comment on camera? But I wait until everybody...
You're an
is-
actress.
Okay, oh, I'm an actress.
So
I can
here's
already see how good it is.
No, taste. Let's see. I'm going to taste it too.
It's an A+. That's an understatement.
Best birthday ever.